So yo, what man, like what caused you to like really think about like why you believe in God?
I always believed in God, or I guess I was brought up to believe in God, but I never really dove. I guess I didn't dive deeper into it until I got older. I was, I grew up. I went to Catholic school growing up and everything. So your parents always teach you about the Bible here and there type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until I got on my own. It wasn't until I was able to look into it for myself that I kind of started to.
So you Catholic or you like Christian?
I'm Baptist. I'm Baptist. Yeah, I went to Catholic school and everything. It was kind of we did all the Catholic stuff growing up type of thing, but we were always Baptist. I guess primarily we were in the school for sports, so all the Catholic schools got the good sports teams. So that's the reason I went there. I went to all boys Catholic school growing up. But yeah, after I got to college, did my thing in college. Kind of went to church here and there, and I always believed, believed in God, but I didn't really do a deep dive into it until later on, until after I graduated from college.
So I mean, it's kind of similar. Like with me, I grew up Christian household, Christian practices, Bible school, Bible study, Sunday school, every Sunday, Wednesday. Kind of prayer before this. Like concept of hell was very real as a kid. It's like, nah, man, you better believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Got baptized and everything, but it's just it did also take me till I was older to kind of question like my belief or like my faith as to like why I believe in God, like why is God real for me? Because it becomes habitual. Like, you move it, you're going through the motions. Everybody, it stops. And I mean, especially like in African American culture, you just stop questioning it after a while.
You don't even question it. Your parents kind of teach you, this is what we are, and you kind of go along with it.
Yeah, and it's like if you go against it, you want to have like, you want to hurt.
Yeah. Like, but
So what caused you to take that deep dive, like go deeper and like figure out like why is it that you like resonate with the faith and like what makes you want to be like more of a godly man?
With me, it's funny. I actually kind of used to do things on my own. I kind of used to always say, I'm my own person. I can do things by myself. So it wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I decided to give a church thing a try. I think I graduated. I remember I graduated from college, and I was real happy to graduate. We work hard and everything, and I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a job at all, and I applied, and you graduate, you invite your family and friends over type of thing. They have a graduation party, and they give you some graduation money. So I was living pretty well, after I graduated off the graduation money. And then the money ran out. Money ran
dry.
And it got to the point that I'm over here, counting pennies. And I didn't have anything in my name, and I'm really sitting there and I'm upset. So I had a friend that was moving to North Carolina, and I remember she was having a going away party. And times it got so bad for me that I didn't have gas to put in my car, type of thing. So I was real hurt, man. I was like, dang, I can't even go see my friend off before she moved to North Carolina. So I was real upset, and it just so happened that I think that party was on a Saturday. And my cousin had texted me and said, tomorrow you want to go to church with me. So I'm sitting there, down and out, depressed from not being able to have a job after graduation. After graduating, a lot of people go through that. You graduate, you can't find a job.
Yeah, I feel like nobody really talk about that. Like the postmortem depression. A lot of unless you was a unless you was a freaking genius in college. We here talking about. I was about to drag it like. Unless you were a genius in college or like you had all those internships and experiences, you graduate. It's hard to get a job in your field. Like after you was grinding for.
And I graduated. Remember, I went to school in Western Maryland. I went to Frostburg. So it's not like I could have an internship in school. I had internships during the summertime, and I would do it, not leave and come back. But they weren't going to be like, you worked here for the summertime. We haven't seen you all year.
They didn't really
come on back and we'll give you a job type of thing. They weren't necessarily going to say that. But with me, my cousin had invited me, to church. And she said, what you doing tomorrow? I want you to go to church with me. Primarily, it's because she don't drive, so I'm pretty positive. She was like, I just need a ride.
I just need a ride.
You know. So I'm sitting there.
Me too.
Take me to church. So I'm in the church. I go to church, and I remember I'm sitting there praying, and I'm just saying, I just need a breakthrough. I just need a breakthrough type of thing. And I remember, I'll never forget, his name was Leon Timbo, and he went up to sing a song called Abba, and Abba means father. And he said that Abba is the only word that you can say, like, no matter what. You can inhale it, you can exhale it, type of thing. It just means father. And he said, Abba, I belong to you. And I remember that. And I was like, I need a breakthrough. So I'm sitting in church. He's singing the song. I don't know what's going on, coming over me, type of thing. I don't know what happened. I start crying, type of thing, in church. Mind you, I'm not one of them type of guys. I started crying. Like, start crying and just said, like, I need help. I don't have a job, really feeling down and out, type of thing. And I think I had like $10. I think was what I had left. And I was like, I'm gonna just sow it. I was like, I'm gonna literally just sow my last $10 into this type of thing. I'm gonna just sow it in there. And I'll never forget that happened on Sunday. And then we got back to my house. I dropped her off, came back to my house. I woke up Monday morning to a voicemail. Because, I don't have no job, so I'm getting up at 11 o'clock, type of thing, 11 a.m. So I woke up to a voicemail, and it said, hi, Jason, my name is such and such. I'm calling with such and such company. We want to bring you in for an interview. Whoa. So I was like, whoa. I was like, no, there's literally only one thing that's changed, and that was me going to church and kind of saying, Lord, I need your help. Went in for the interview. I went on that Monday. They called me back on Wednesday saying they wanted to move forward with me, that they wanted to hire me, type of thing. That following Monday, I started work. So, at that point in time, I was like, you can't tell me God isn't working it,
I mean, and it's just funny that you say that, because the person who's not religious, like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's not just these. Mm-hmm. But a person who's not religious be like, oh, well, I mean, you did all the prior work. Yeah. Like, you sent in your applications. It just finally came through. Mm-hmm. But faith is a belief in something not seen nor felt. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you put your faith in God. You sold your last $10. You gave up your tithes and offering. You asked God. You was like, help me out. And He provided a way. And it's just, I feel like on the religious end of that spectrum, it kind of sucks because you can't genuinely, like, physically prove or have evidence to say, like, dang, like, that was God. Because everybody's going to be like, well, what did you do prior? Like, what's the tangible aspect of it? But it's...
And see, for me, I've always considered myself to be somewhat lucky. I'm adopted, right? Mm-hmm. So I was born in D.C. I had a close adoption, so I don't really know too much about it. Mm-hmm. I know that I was a love child, if that makes sense. I know that my birth mother, my birth father was married to another woman and messed around on her, type of thing, and had a baby, type of thing. Now, my birth mother, instead of deciding that to terminate the pregnancy, type of thing, she moved forward with it. So, me even thinking about how I got here, type of thing, divine intervention in my, in my opinion, type of thing. I didn't have to be here.
It was a reason.
Exactly. There's a reason that I was born. And then the adoption agency that I was born at, apparently, it's a really good adoption agency. It's for black families adopting black kids. But of all the people in the metropolitan area and the country, type of thing, I was here. Like, I was born here, and I was given to my parents, type of thing. So I really am appreciative of that, and I really, know that there's something. It can't be all luck. You know what I mean? It can't be all luck.
Everything ain't a coincidence.
It can't be all luck, type of thing. And I've had things where, I'm not qualified for something. God will qualify the unqualified. I'm sure you've seen it happen where you may see somebody and you'll be like, how did he get that type of thing? I mean, it could be luck, but it really is. People have a calling on them.
So so it just started off in, like, I usually make a lot of stuff happen myself. Mm-hmm. If I'm going through, like, a hard time or something, like, even with the whole Charlotte School of Law thing. I'm like pushing. But it wasn't really until I questioned my faith and like what is it that I believe in that I kind of I was granted a certain amount of clarity because I was like genuinely like going through that whole process for like the past 2-3 years. I was tired. Like you ever had like that perpetual tired feeling like yo I'm just always exhausted. I wake up like damn it's always something on my mind. I got a headache. And one of the things that had happened was, so I was on a date with this like girl. It was cool. Like we was chopping it up, was having a good time. And something that never really comes up, because you know, again in our culture, it's an unspoken. Like you automatically believe in God. Like you don't really have to ask nobody.
Yeah.
But just for like out of respect, I'm like, oh, you Catholic, you Baptist, you Christian, and she was like, well, I'm agnostic, and I was like. I mean, over the creme brulee, I'm like, oh, what you mean? And she was like, it's not that I really don't believe, it's just that like I don't understand. And she's like, how can you believe in something that you don't understand? And I was like, all right, well, you know what happens. She was like, well, why do you believe? So that you kick the God created the heavens and the earth, Adam and Eve, and
the story, like, the Bible school story.
The Bible school story, like the rhetoric that you've been saying like the whole time since you was younger, but. When I was saying it to her, it was this weird feel. Like I started feeling empty. Like I did feel hollow. I was like, yo, I feel like my words have no meaning behind them. It's the first time I've ever talked about like my religion with somebody who wasn't as like religious as me. And I was just trying to figure. I was like, dang, it feels hollow. So I left that conversation, left the day, wrapped up. Everything was cool, and I kind of had this feeling. Like I started feeling sick. I was like, yo, have I been just like following a trend this entire time or following what I was told? Or do I genuinely like believe? Like, how do I know God is real? And, I mean, to keep it a buck, I started praying on it and I got no answer. Like it felt like I was praying to a brick wall.
Well, they always say, I heard they say, the teacher is quiet during the test. So if you think about it, so if you're praying and you don't hear anything back, it's not he hasn't forgotten about you, but it's just a test. You know what I mean? Like the teacher he'll teach you everything up until it comes time for test time, and then he don't say nothing at all. And he hasn't forgotten about you. He's in the room. He or she's in the room. They're watching you. They're proctoring you, monitor, make sure everything is okay. But it'll be a period of time when they pass that. They pass your test back, and they say we're gonna go over it. We're gonna go over it.
And that's what I feel like happened. Like it did. Like I've never. Like, how you pray and you get that feeling on the inside of your heart. Like it's like a feeling of relief. Like a sigh. You're like, all right, woosah. Like it's a huge de-stressor. Whatever I'm going through is not permanent. It's just right now. But I did. It was just like silence. I heard nothing back. So I started panicking. I'm like. Yo, my whole and it's off just this one question from this one day. I'm like, my whole foundation has been ripped from under me,
shifted or something like that.
Because it's like I don't have a genuine like answer anymore. So I mean, in order to kind of reestablish yourself in your faith and to like be intentional and everything, you have to start seeking. So I went to my homeboys and we took a road trip to Deep Creek in Maryland. I was like, yo. Why do y'all believe in God? And I'm trying to like pick at any resonance of what they're saying or like what's going on to see if it relates to me, if I can formulate my answer. So they give me the answers, and I'm like, yeah, this is good, but it's just like I still feel empty, and I still feel like it's a disconnect with me and God. Like I don't. It's like he's not there for me no more, and I can't even describe the feeling. It's like yo, you free base jumping with no bungee cord, no harnesses, no nothing. You just like whatever happens.
Yeah, but that's the I'm glad you didn't give up, because that's the easiest time to just when you feel helpless and you're like it's the easiest time for you to kind of give up type of thing. It's easy to believe in God when you get accepted here, and you got a raise in your job,
and that's what I was saying. It was just like I would pray every day, pray especially hard. I mean, we know how it be, yo. You pray OD hard, like when you going through something, like please, I promise I'd never do it again. Like yo, just get me through this, and then your prayers be lukewarm when it's good. It's like I don't really got nothing I gotta pray about.
Just say thank you,
thank you for waking me up, forgive me all my sins, give me safe travel, mercy, and that. But it was just like so. I thought about my life and I thought about the different stuff that I was doing. And mind you, this is only like a couple months ago, like back in January.
Okay.
And I just realized it wasn't the fact that I didn't believe in God, because I looked to the book of Job, because that was one of the things that resonated with me. I'm like, well, all right, I remember when God tested his faith, like when Satan said, like, yo, he'll be a non-believer, you take everything away from him. And God tested Job's faith and like killed his whole family, took away all his crops, left the man with nothing, but he still prayed for that faith. So I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, well, let me get English on it. Let me look up the root meaning of faith. Let me look up luck and coincidence. And I'm slowly clawing towards my answer. But then I realized, I was like, yo, it's not the fact that I don't believe in God. I said, I'm living a lifestyle that's not conducive of my belief in God.
There it is.
When I hit that, I was like, oh, all the feeling came back. My prayers started hitting again. I was like, oh, somebody that ignited the furnace.
It's hard to serve. They say it's hard to serve two masters.
And I realized it, like, I can't remember. It was Corinthians or it was like John. And it was just like, yo, you cannot love the world and love me at the same time. Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I just did a quick play of my lifestyle. I mean, like, being a sexual deviant, going out getting drunk, having fun, cussing it up. It's like, how much more of the world am I putting in than I'm putting into him?
Yeah, it's not equal. It's not balancing out.
And I'm unequally yoked. So it's like when I realized that it was like something went off in my head and I just had a whole new vision of thinking. And it's kind of like, yo, I'm just as good as the homeless man out there on the street. He's just as good as me. But the only thing is, how am I going to walk in my faith, and how is he going to walk in his faith? And it just slowly built me up. It crafted me and molded me, and I became closer to God in that one moment a couple months ago than I ever have been in my 25 years of life. But it was just kind of like, it makes me look at the world in a whole different view, because I'll see people my age or like older than me dealing with XYZ problems, and since my reconnection, I'm just like, well, yo, if you do this, and this, it's that hard. If you eliminate this is why you feel that way. Yeah. But it's just kind of like, how do I not judge when I'm on like a 12th grade reading level and everybody else is still in pre-K? And it's
you can't judge them. You just kind of have to be there for them. You know, you have to be the light in the darkness, if that makes sense. You know, you say that you can't be living living worldly, and then try to be right with God as well, type of thing. And I'm the type of person that when I got saved, I didn't cut off all my friends, type of thing. A lot of people, when they get saved, you'll come to Christ, and all your old friends from back in the day, you kind of, I don't want to talk to you, type of thing.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
It isn't, because they need you more than your same friends need you, in my opinion. It's the type of thing, that you could be a beacon of light, in the darkness, type of thing. Granted, of course, I'm not saying that, you get saved and you automatically go right back to where you were before, type of thing. But it's good to talk to your mans, talk to your homies about stuff like that. We have conversations, type of thing, where, I'll introduce, either myself or you or somebody will introduce something into our core group of friends, and we'll be like, maybe we don't got to go out and, we don't got to go out to the club today. Maybe we could hang out and, and invite some people over, type of thing, and watch the game.
But upon my journey, I learned that, like, yo, when you start refining your belief and refining your understanding, you realize that a lot of people do a lot of things to replace holes and voids that they got in them. FOMO is real, fear of missing out. Like, that's the reason why you can't use a Friday evening like we doing now, or like you just say, girl, let's chill without no alcohol, let's just talk things out, or let's just go for this walk or do XYZ, because you are afraid that you're missing out on something in the world, and that you got to replace that with something you have going on, versus being like comfortable with yourself, strong in your belief and your faith and everything.
A lot of that comes from being from feeling, like you said, from fear of missing out, but it's also feeling inadequate in certain parts of your life. So for me, if it was like, I yearned for dialogue, and I yearn for like closeness and talking with people, type of thing. I have a dialogue right now, you know what I mean? Like, so I could be like, I just want to talk to people, and I want to, hang out and do whatever, everything. If I wasn't sure of myself, this could turn into you invite a young lady over and you have a dialogue. You invite a young lady.
I mean, that's facts.
And you have a dialogue type of thing. And for her, she wants the same thing. But a lot of times with women, it'll be like, oh yeah, I want, maybe they'll want something like they want like closeness and they want intimacy, but they don't want sex. They just want to be around you type of thing. So they may feel like I have to, I'll sacrifice a piece of myself for 10, 15 minutes in order to get that close intimacy with this man afterwards.
But then it's like, what are you really filling your time with?
Exactly.
I mean,
but in reality, intimacy or, discussion and dialogue, you could have it, with your friends type of thing. On a Friday night, instead of hanging out with a lady type of thing, you could hang out with your bros and watch TV, watch the game, watch, whatever.
What we doing to enhance and I mean, I've dealt with that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like the college lifestyle, frat lifestyle, you be like, it's nothing. It becomes nothing after a while. And then, the older you get, the interchange between, like, you and women and, like, going outside, it just starts to become effortless. And there's so much. And then I had to ask myself, I'm like, yo, I want to get to a place where when a fine girl walks past me or she's very attractive, I don't have to, like, oh damn, she thick, man. Like I want to get to that point where I don't have, but not like have to do it, but like I'm trying to decondition myself from doing that. And then part of that is like realizing that being like sexually immoral for so long and like just trying to have how Jesus take the wheel, you're trying to have your hand on the steering wheel and like the gears and stuff, and be like, well, he got his hand right here, but I'm gonna still drive the direction I want to drive. I mean, it's difficult, and there's not enough God or like spirituality in a sense for like some people that might not believe in like Jesus Christ and stuff, where they have their own faction of religion. Is it not enough of that going on in the world? Because we were even in a group chat together where somebody said, yo, black people rely on the Bible too much. And I'm like, in my mind, in my perspective, I'm like, well, yo, what else are you going to rely on?
That's a socioeconomic type of thing. That's a socioeconomic type of thing where it's like, who was it? Said that religion is the opiate of the masses. Whatever. But, you said, the question was if you don't believe?
No, I'm saying, do you feel like there needs to be more like faith and like belief in God in the world today? Like, because I mean, you gotta look at it's like we're living in a hyper. We're like living in a hyper reality of like the Jim Crow era, except it's like not as much. No, I can't even say not as much because black people still out here getting killed. It just ain't as widely accepted as it used to be.
I do think that it is incredibly important to have faith in today's climate. To have a faith, to have a belief system, because if you don't know who you are, and more importantly, you don't know whose you are, it can get pretty scary out here for you.
So, what you mean by that, though?
If you don't know, if you don't know who you are, specifically yourself, like, I am such and such, this is who I am, and you don't know whose you are, meaning you don't know that you are God's, that you are, you belong to God, God put you here for a purpose, and that you are, wonderfully made. It could be scary, you live in a world and where people are, doing things. Things are right side up, upside down type of thing. You have people trying to tell you that certain things are right, that certain things are wrong. We have immoral leaders in the world today. We have people on TV. You turn on TV right now, they're not preaching the gospel. You know what I mean? Like, they're not. And if they are, they're going to try to preach some twisted, warped version of it that's going to try to make it seem like justifying what they do in their spare time and what they choose to do, what they want to do. Is good, is good and just and right. But it's important to know whose you are.
It's and I definitely understand that. But then, it's kind of hard being a Christian because, like, when you mention it, the times. As a matter of fact, from what I observed, the times you mention God, good accomplishment. something extremely bad has happened to you. I mean, especially like, social media culture. Thank God I graduated. It's graduated. Thank God I graduated.
Okay.
He done took me through everything. Or, pray for so-and-so in my family because they're super messed up right now and stuff like that. But if you mention that outside of that, it's like a certain eye or like certain connotation or a certain look you get like, oh, you're being preachy or you're holier than thou.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and they were saying like, well, I'm spiritual, but I'm not like, but I'm not into all that because the Bible has mad inconsistencies. And then you look at the history of it with like white people and how they were like forcing the religion on other people or like skewing it. And the argument that I was trying to further is that, you can't look at man's perception or personification of the word. You just have to look at the word itself. Because you ask, why the Bible, of every single literary piece that has ever come out, of the millions of books that have come out, why has this one piece transcended time? Transcended time from its conception to today. Still debatable, still certain stuff you cannot discredit or disbelieve. Why is this one book so heavy? And then if you look at the historical concept of what happened, the poor people couldn't read, and the preachers were the only ones that knew Latin. So they would translate the Bible in their own words to control the masses, but they weren't necessarily preaching that message.
Okay.
And it just disheartens me when I talk to people like that and they see it like that and they'd be like, well, now I don't understand how you do that whole like religious or God thing, or like they're going through a real tough time, like, I tried the whole God thing, it doesn't work. It's like, at what point do you disassociate who you are as man or woman and disassociate how man or woman might have brought that concept to you and just say, yo, let me focus on the word and its interpretation to me versus what everybody else is trying to tell me it should mean or how I feel like I should have it based on everybody else's reaction.
I think what I gather from that, and what I'm so happy with, is that people, I hate to say that, they think freely type of thing.
But ain't no such thing. We enslaved them.
But people are free to think whatever they want to think. But I am so happy that we think that way, but God does not think that way.
That's facts.
I am so happy, like that people can, that it doesn't matter how much you curse him, don't talk to him, don't mess with him, have conversations with believers, say, I don't believe in that, blah, 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 I'm more spiritual than I am religious, that God hasn't turned his back on you, type of thing. So,
for he so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son.
Yeah, the only thing that you can do for people like that is try to be there for them. Be there for them. You don't have to. I know I'm not a person to push my faith on anybody. If y'all say you want to come to church with me, type of thing. If they want to come, cool. If they don't, the same thing. I'm not about to condemn you if you don't want to go, type of thing. I just try to be a good example of what I believe a good Christian person would be. I'm not perfect. I always say I'm not perfect, but I'm better than I was yesterday. So I'm not perfect, but I'm better than I was yesterday. And each day I try to progress and try to move forward, type of thing. But people that don't believe or type of thing, there's nothing you can really say. I mean, you can preach to them and try to. I can share my breakthrough moment with them. I've had a couple of breakthroughs where I'd be like, if you can't tell me that there's something supernatural going on here right now, then God is real.
So, I know we talked about like religion and like faith and everything, but like the state of the culture, like, what do you think? It's kind of like a pervasive issue amongst like leaders and like different like role models are kind of like our pioneers of what everything is we do today.
I think that there are role models out there, but I think that we're putting the wrong people in the forefront.
What do you mean?
That you make the wrong people famous. You make the wrong people famous.
Well, no,
you make the wrong people famous.
What you mean you get the wrong people famous?
The wrong people are famous. The wrong people are being pushed to the forefront.
Can I have an example of the wrong person that's famous?
I don't care about what Kanye West has to say about politics. I mean, he's an influencer. Don't get me wrong. He's an influencer type of thing. But I feel like we put a lot of weight on what celebrities think about celebrities with no that haven't
put in like the prerequisites.
they haven't put in the prerequisites. Like I would care if Common said something about politics. Yes, like say.
So what's the difference between him and Ye?
That I feel like Common has kind of done some research, if that makes sense.
Made himself fluent.
Yeah, knowledge is in books. You can kind of tell when you hear people are spitballing versus when you hear them, just kind of free thinking.
I mean, because I got in an argument with a girl on Twitter because she it was wild. It's always somebody that's I'm gonna make up the new word hoteptress. I'm gonna call her ashy girls. That's what I'm gonna do. Shorty is ashy because you gotta realize how disrespectful it is to call somebody ashy.
Yeah,
like that. You have no moisture content to your skin. Like you woke up this morning, took a hot shower, and walked outside and was like, "Forget it, you ashy." But we were talking, and she was saying how it's destructive. She was furthering this narrative, which is kind of like the overall theme of what's been going on. Like how it's destructive if you put black children in the room with police and tell them to like understand them and amend their differences, and how like it's toxic to the kids. I'm like, how else do you further a conversation without communication? I'm a 45-year-old white man. And I'm an officer of the law, and I seldom have any interactions with African Americans, and that's not the culture I was brought up in, or I was raised around. For what reason, other than somebody telling me that my behavior is oppressive or aggressive, am I going to go out my way to like research or learn about something like that? And that's where the onus is on us to host and harbor those conversations, and the onus is on them to learn more, and listen, and like alter the actions, but. I say that to say this general narrative, like how you said, you don't care about hearing politics from a celebrity. I think it's because of the fact that Donald Trump is president. It's like before him, even though you have Ronald Reagan, who was the actor, it was like a line of like celebrities. Y'all got y'all lane, which is like mad pedestals below, like the people that are actually altering politics and having things that are conducive to society. But then after he got elected. It's kind of like you blurred those two lines. Now something Rihanna says or Kim Kardashian says or Cardi B says about the state of Black America, it's very detrimental because you now have a president that's dabbled on both of those sides. And you've opened up the gate to like, you take him seriously and you take what he says seriously or what he says out of his mouth with certain credit. You're now giving all of these other celebrities and other people credit for what they're doing. I mean, look at the culture shift because remember what the joke Dave Chappelle says? Like, I don't care about that up. I don't care about what Ja Rule thinks. Nowadays, because the line has been blurred, people care about what they have to think, and these are now the new leaders of society.
And I think that's very true. I just think that when if you do enter the public space and you do enter the becoming gaining notoriety. I feel like it's important when you know that your voice is going to be heard and whatever it is that you say. I do feel like it's important for you to at least take a step back and learn and try to become somewhat versed in it. If you knew that your voice is going to travel far, that's why I said that I would take something that a Common would say, or even Lupe Fiasco has said some off the wall stuff. Type of things before, but when he speaks, you would listen. You'd say, "Okay, well, I'll hear what you have to say," type of thing, because you would say, "Oh, you've studied this." If Kanye wants to give somebody fashion tips, people would be like, "Okay, I'll listen." You know what I'm saying? Because you'll see, like, "Oh, he cares about that. That's what he's labored for." So you'd say, "Okay, well." I may not agree with it. You may not like the shoes, but you're like, okay, but I'm willing to listen to what you're saying in this aspect because I know that you've, honed those skills and you paid attention to it and you studied it and you, read about it and everything like that. So you listen to that. But I don't, when I hear people just spitballing things about, he's like, I'm a free thinker and, I just want to.
Slavery was a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, you're spitballing this. You didn't think about this. This is not.
So you look on the opposite end of the spectrum. You have people like Donald Glover where that man is a brilliant writer from NBC, him working with Tina Fey and like the Community and everything. Some of the shows that we see where his face isn't shown, he's written jokes for them, written concepts, but you have most of his face and stuff like Atlanta and This America. but you see people kind of like treating a Kanye situation like, yo, this is mental health, this is a serious issue and stuff, let's help him. But then you have the entire, I mean, it's predominantly like black women, some black men too that are quote unquote woke. But it's like because Donald Glover has a white girlfriend, it's like now everything is erased that he's done, or like all the progressiveness and everything. And I feel like that's simple. Like, for what reason is if you're using your platform and your power to highlight all of these issues, and
who you choose to lay down
you're doing
with.
a positive forefront. You weren't tripping when Cardi B was busting it wide open in her third trimester at a concert, but you mad because this man has a white girlfriend? Like, somehow he hates black women and is against our culture, or he's using us for money because of his romantic choice. It's like, why do we choose to favor nonsense over stuff that actually like makes sense?
I'm not quite sure how to even answer. I think who somebody chooses to lay down with in their own bed shouldn't be conducive to advancing the community or not. I do think that I do feel at least where women are coming from. I know statistically speaking, black women are the least like a group of people to date outside their race. So I do see where they could be coming from. You know, I'm not a black woman, so I can't answer the question.
And I get it. It's like the slander of it, but it's kind of like an examples like this where he's not a slanderer of black women. It's like, come on, son. It's like all this good, and and I don't care what you say, we are the only race that will openly, and because we make the culture, we shift the culture, and we can make what's popular, what's relevant popular. We are the only race that will outwardly castrate a member of our own society if they go against our core ideals and values. You might see the white grandmother, the Asian father, like the African, and I'm talking about African Americans, not like African descendants and stuff like that, but the Jamaican, the Haitian, the African, they might side eye and keep it all in the family.
You'll keep it in the family. You keep it all in house.
They might let each other know I don't like them, or like they might alter their practices. But it's just like, your African Americans, we will blatantly go out of our way to try to embarrass, discredit, or like ruin an individual who doesn't align with like our quote unquote new cultural like values. And it's sad because like we have a lot of power, but then you dictate the power to that, and it looks from the outside outside looking in. If I was a white person looking at black people do that to like a celebrity or like somebody else that was in a community, I'd be disgusted. I'd be like, damn, what is wrong with these people? I would have a worse vision.
They tear their own down type of thing. And I think that's it's a sad thing that happens. I think that, you know, a lot of times people of color, black people, have a crabs in a bucket, crabs in a barrel type mentality sometimes. Or sometimes we're just so conditioned to things being too good to be true that we just ruin it ourselves. You know, a lot of times we all been there where something's going really well and you literally said to yourself, like, something don't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, you ever had some stuff like real good stuff happen to you? Like, wow, it must be my day. I've had a lot of luck. And then you literally pause and say, life is not supposed to be like this. There's something going on here. Something is wrong.
If I'm this
happy. Or something is wrong if I'm this insert, adjective here type of thing. What's wrong? Something is wrong. So sometimes I feel like we'll be progressing, we'll be making moves that, and then we'll see something happen or be like, I feel really good about this. Something is wrong. And I think we have to get past that, that.
I mean, but that's sad because, you taking it on a more local level, like I know we were talking earlier about like local politics and like government-based politics and stuff like that, and it kind of like becomes cliquey. It's like, this is too good to be true that we're in this room. I mean, especially like with the Congressional Black Caucus, it's too good to be true that we're in this room with all these well interconnected African Americans. But then it becomes so like group thought notioned and sectioned off everybody comes off mad asshole-ish. It's like, oh, I don't want to help you unless you, like you said, read me your extensive resume.
It's a
and
resume
that,
contest when you go to those.
And I just think it's all so counterproductive because I was about to say something wild, but it's like we're doing to ourselves what white people did to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we segregating ourselves within our own culture and saying, hey, yo, no, you can't have this. You can't have this because you're not here. I don't like how you look at it. It's kind of like after that destructive way of thinking from the early 1960s to now, or like even further. Mm-hmm. It's like it's ingrained, and then we're repeating the history that was like forced upon us. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense because if we were the foundation of America illegally, we control the state of the culture, which shifts where money goes, which shifts where focus goes. At what point in time are we going to take control of that and use it for ourselves? You know, all these companies make so much money off of us, off of what we do, and have yet to cut us a check for YouTube, popular, everything. And it would be sick, yo. It would be sick.
I don't, we just gotta. It's really interesting. It really is interesting because you just gotta have to sit there and try to wonder. There's a lot of questions that you ask in there, but just wonder about why society does that. Why we as people of color, do that to ourselves, and we kind of don't want, as a collective group, we would like to advance. It's easy to say that we want to advance, boom, until it comes time for the grassroots movement, and then it's like, whoa.
Damn, but we done beat 400 years of slavery. We learned how to
especially once you get to once you get into,
I don't know.
Yeah, and like you said about some of those events, you get into those events, and it's kind of you read off your resume, and I have to determine from one black man to another, where I'm educated and you're educated, if you are worth talking to. If you're worth talking to, if you're worth me doing that, which is terrible because in the grand scheme of things, you're already minority. So instead of coming together and saying we have a common goal, I don't care if you're the janitor, I don't care if you whatever, but you are here right now. We have a goal that we need to match. We kind of get together and we said it's really cliquey, and we gotta figure some stuff out. But I also say, in the grand scheme of America, you have slavery.
It's like 80%.
Yeah, slavery, Jim Crow type of stuff, civil rights era, and we're just here. So, 2018, we're here. So I always say, we've got hundreds of years to make up for. So Rome wasn't built in a day. Forget Rome, but there's promise, for us. We don't have to be perfect right now, but I am confident that in the next generations coming on, that some of those people are not going to have to deal with some of the same nonsense that we've dealt with, the crabs in a barrel, crabs in a bucket mentality.
And overall, how do you feel like spirituality and religion and stuff plays a role in that? Because we didn't get this far off of sheer luck.
Yeah,
it wasn't a coincidence like that. As white people, let's fight over these slaves, and then outdo our own selves and mess up our economic free labor system.
I literally think that we are, that I believe that we have a calling. We all have a calling. Mm-hmm. There's a reason that we're all here, and the fact that we can, for 400 years of slavery. That there are descendants of people walking around from that, where half of the people that came over here did not make it. The other half, were in bondage for hundreds of years. Then they came together, they're being treated as second-class citizens, and they're still here today. I literally sit there and be like, that's nothing but a higher power type of thing, because there are whole groups of people that have been in America, the Native Americans that have been decimated. type of thing. And somehow, there's something going on that we are still here. So, like I said, everyone has a breakthrough story where it's kind of like what made you, have your coming to Christ moment type of thing. But there are little things that don't even necessarily involve me, that I feel like there is a God. That I know that there's that He's up there working. That I can. It's probably the best to that. You can be spiritual all you want to, type of thing. But that there's a higher power up there. Yeah.
Facts. We done. No, it's cool. Just fade out. You get a picture of the empty, bro. You get the picture of the empty bones, yo. You gotta get the bones in there. Like, damn, niggas fed up today. We out.
But that's the whole tragic point, my friends. What would I do if I could suddenly feel and to know once again that what I feel is real?